It did take us all by surprise, didn't it? But are we now at a point that we can identify exactly where Corbyn mania has come from? Who's supporting him?
Well, we're not really at that stage yet. What we have is one poll. We've conducted one poll of Labour members, and that gives us a snapshot of where they stand at that time. And there's still a lot of time to go. We know that Corbyn is more supported by women than men. We know that his support tends to be from people who have joined the Labour Party more recently compared to older members. And we know that he's more popular with trade unions. But in no case is it overwhelmingly so. And there's still a lot of time to go. If there's one thing we know from all the leadership election polls that we've run, both for Conservatives and for Labour, is that a lot can happen. And I expect that some of the strategic voting that our polling showed up, that's around 1 in 4, 1 in 5 people who's voting at the moment for Burnham or Cooper and then putting Corbyn as their second preference, that may evaporate. But the point is we don't know because we don't have the data as it stands.
James, turning to you, you're a devotee of Jeremy Corbyn. You're the Labour Club at Oxford University, where you were at the first to declare its support for him. What is it about a ticket that so many people see as a return to some fairly dark days for the Labour Party in the 80s that appeals to someone like you?
Well, for me, politics isn't about personalities, it's about issues. And on the issues that a lot of young people care about, Jeremy's the only candidate who's offering a clear and principled policy. So whether that's free education, a living wage, rent control, scrapping Trident. Jeremy actually isn't a hard left candidate as he's been caricatured as. He's mainstream. Most people support those policies, at least according to what people in YouGov's say. And for young people, well, young people have been hit much harder by austerity. If you're young, you're 3 times as likely to be unemployed. You're more likely to have your benefits sanctioned. You're more likely to be exploited in the private rented sector. And some of us might now be graduating with over £50,000 of debt. So young people have taken a battering over the last 5 years. And in this leadership election, it's only been Jeremy Corbyn who's proposed policies that have made a clear break from the Tories.
James, I just want to bring in Abby here as one of those that, well, according to you at least, should have been transferring her affections from, obviously, the days of Milifandom over to Jeremy Corbyn. But you haven't. Instead, you've gone for Andy Burnham. I'm hoping that that's not the kiss of death for him.
Yeah, me neither.
What's the rationale? What is the reasoning? And what is it about Jeremy Corbyn that you presumably disagree with James about just how attractive his policies are to young people?
Well, it's not that I entirely disagree with James about that. I just think that Jeremy Corbyn would find it harder to lead a united Labour Party. And I think to be strong, Labour have to be united, and people need us to be strong. So I think Andy is the best candidate to unite the party, and thus we'd have a stronger Labour Party under Andy Burnham than we would Jeremy Corbyn.
Joe, just taking us back to the numbers, is it possible, on your understanding of where Jeremy Corbyn is at the moment, what happens when you take out those first preferences, is it possible that within a few months we are going to see Jeremy Corbyn as leader of the Labour Party?
It is possible, but it's by no means guaranteed. When you run through the numbers, when you run through the first and the second preferences and see how things divide, it's really too close to call. And that was back when we polled a few weeks ago. And so there's plenty of time for things to change. When you ask the general public what they think of these candidates, around a third of people say they don't know. They don't know about any of them. And so this is all a sort of hypothetical discussion, and there's definitely more to come.
I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Joe Twyman in the studio, Abby Tomlinson and James Elliott, thanks very much for joining us. Sorry it's so brief.